Hey, it's Kazan! The show where we talk about good old anime on our
Subscribe
Star for $10, but on the channel we talk about whatever's popular, and sometimes that means episodes 5 through 8 of Rental Girlfriend.
I wonder if this show is still popular, you know, because we haven't checked the updates.
I see no reason it wouldn't be, because the appeal of the show is that the girls are hot, and that is the one thing it has consistently delivered on that I can compliment it about, is that, like, even though there's not much animation in this show, it's a manga adaptation. They went with basically just a moving manga aesthetic.
Yeah.
And they went all out on the character art. You know, the line work is always on point. You got lots and lots of masturbatory fan service, but it's always kind of classy. It's never just like boing, big tits in your face. It's like they want you to think these girls are like worth money.
They're all wifeable in the larger sense, outside of their particular life choices.
And
but that's
horrible personality.
Yeah, that too.
Everyone in this show is fucking unlikable.
Mizuhara's not unlikable. She's perfectly fine.
Who's Mizuhara?
The main girl.
No, I can't fucking stand her.
Really? Why?
Because everyone in the show is so fucking wishy-washy about everything.
Okay, well that's definitely true. I agree.
Nobody can just fucking address their feelings, and it's so obnoxious because, okay, I was really worried after episode 4. Because, like, I kind of was sticking up for the show in the beginning. You were immediately deeply offended.
I had deep issues with it on a fundamental basis, which haven't really changed.
No.
They're just less prevalent, I guess.
I mean, in many ways, I started to get angrier at it because initially I thought, like, and I still think the point of the show is eventually going to be, you know, like, he will change as a person.
I agree.
He will be able to, they will get together on legitimate terms at the end of the story, probably. But, you know, it's a long-running manga. Its goal is going to be to take as long to let that happen as possible. And I was really concerned by the fact that in episode 4, we already get, like, an ultimate moment of, like, just laying bare why these characters care about each other, what are their feelings, they have all these conversations, they sort through all these emotions, and even though they're going to break up anyways for dumb reasons, he saves her life.
That's the only good idea they have.
She saves his.
Yeah, right.
They save each other's lives. It's very clear that they both like each other.
If there was any doubt in your foolish mind that main girl wouldn't win, I hope that you're smart enough to banish those thoughts for all time after episode 5, because there's no reason to think anything else is going to happen.
But, like, and from that vantage point, I was just very concerned that, like, okay, well, there's nowhere for the story to go from here now. Because, like, this makes it obvious that them getting together is the ultimate point. They obviously like each other. So anything that stands in the way of that is just to elongate the story for as long as possible. And just, like, right away, we're basically back to square one. Because, like, already before all the bullshit of episodes 3 and 4 and 5, before all the fucking bro downs and, like, talking about their feelings, the characters were already in the position of, oh, we're fake dating, but we both kind of like each other and we want to preserve the thing with our grandmas. And, like, we readdressed that with the grandmas set them up in this hotel together. And, like, they basically just go over the plot again. And it's like, at that point, I'm like, oh, fuck, like, nothing mattered. None of that shit changed the basic state these characters are in, except that the main character gets over his ex and is now in love with the main girl. And the ex is not even in the story anymore.
She isn't in any of these episodes, I don't think.
He makes that determination. Well, the most we see is the one scene that made this not a complete wash to have kept up with.
Premise, initially, as we said last time, the ending has, like, a tissue being thrown into a trash can. Like, what? That can't be implying what we think it is, can it? We see him
pulling tissues out regularly throughout the show anytime he, like, is thinking about his ex. And in this episode, explicitly...
Episode 5,
the ex-girlfriend sends him a bikini picture to fuck with him. And he immediately starts masturbating. And we go all in!
We see the tissue comes up, like, the screen goes on, and you see from the side the pants are down. You can clearly see, and he's arm is going,
and then his arm starts going up his shirt. He's playing with
his fucking nipple while he's doing it. He's got the lotion out. It's a smorgasbord,
and the whole time, like, metal music is playing.
And
he's thinking about raping his ex.
It's consensual sex or whatever.
But But, like, because he keeps having thoughts of the new girl that he's now in love with, which...
Mizuhara,
like,
yeah.
And I still, like, I mean... The way that this has been presented from the beginning has been confusing because they keep implying that, like, oh, he's still obsessed with his ex. But they were always implying that he was also in love with this girl. So this didn't affect him until now, I guess.
It's been a slow build, I guess, of understanding his feelings.
He's over his ex after this masturbation session, seemingly.
Yeah, she doesn't come up again, so it's over.
I mean, that was a legendary scene, and I cannot take that away from the show.
That was the scene we were saying that justifies watching the show, because that scene, better than anything I've ever seen in my life, that particular feeling has now been cemented in a visual auditory medium that encapsulates the inner struggle of when you're fapping and you're trying to think of that one thing that you're really into, but oh no, like maybe you click over to the wrong porn tab. Oh no, I'm jacking onto the porn I didn't want to jack. I'm gonna coom to this. No, I gotta get back. And you can't find your tab and it's lost somewhere. Or you're trying to think of one thing in particular, but these other things keep cropping into your mind, or maybe things that aren't even sexual at all, and it's pissing you off. You're like, no, my dad died today. I'm just trying to jack off to forget about it, but his corpse just keeps coming into my head. I'm cooming on my dad's face in my head. That struggle being captured in anime was unique, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it was pretty cool and does add to the tapestry that is the world of anime. So there was a major contribution made by Rent a Girlfriend, and for that, I thank it for existing.
Yeah.
Beyond that...
That scene was delightful. We laughed very
hard. We all were going, whoa! Whoa!
The entire rest of it was a slog. And after episode 5, we started speeding it up to like 1.5.
I feel no shame.
It felt like the speed it should have been at. Like, I couldn't watch it at the slower speed, especially after a long day of watching anime.
Yep.
It's just like, to reach to have watched the One Piece movie, which was not good.
It was a slog.
Was more exciting to watch than this was. Like, diving into it, I was just like, oh man, like, I don't care. I don't care about these teenagers and their emotions going around in circles. And it's because all of it is just based on how they perceive themselves. And that's it. The whole show is characters perceiving their situation in a wrong-headed way and then obsessing over those perceptions. And when it's done for comedy, it can be fine. But when it's done for drama, I don't give a fuck because none of it's real. It's just in their fucking heads. Yeah. And through the exchange of currency.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be excited to come here on the storied show that is Kantent and be like, it was so amazing when in episode 6, the girl Ruka, the other girl, she called out the fact that the guy and the girl had like a rental girlfriend and they were so embarrassed about that. But then what a twist of fate when it turned out she was also a rental girlfriend.
Which was apparent immediately.
Am I supposed to pretend to care?
On screen,
it was like, so
obvious. She's also a rental girlfriend.
It doesn't make the guy. She's too hot for the guy she's with. Am I supposed to think this is good?
The exact same way as Chizuru, which is obviously because they're doing the same thing. Like, you'd have to be fucking retarded to not understand this way before it's revealed, which is like 15 laborious minutes later. Of them going, how could she possibly know?
How could she know? And I don't know, they're setting up this thing of like when they say to Mizuru, they're like, are you famous? And she's like, who knows? I bet this bitch is famous. And like everybody knows her in the Rent-A-Girlfriend forums online. She's the top rated one. I don't know. I mean, what the fuck else is there to say? Dude, but what a fucking slog.
Episode 7, I think, is where the girl. The other rental girlfriend...
Ruka the blue hair one.
As obnoxious as the episode introducing her was, when we finally got to what her gimmick is, I did enjoy what she adds to the story. Which is that she is obsessed with the main character.
Can we talk about how that was presented to us before we get into the details specifically? Sure. The entire backstory of New Girl is presented at I believe the end of episode 7 in a lightning fast montage of still frames with text on it as the ending credits are playing, as if it were the pages of the manga. But these are crucial plot relevant details about her characterization that, as you were saying, is kind of the best characterization of anyone in the show. Why aren't we spending our minutes on that? So that's good.
Throughout the arc, we it seems as though the reason she falls in love with the main character is just simply that his actions cause her heart rate to increase.
Yes, over 90 BPM.
Yes, which is not very high, which is something I thought was noteworthy, and Victor had pointed out as well. And we were just like, what's going on with this BPM thing. And Victor, right away, as soon as he saw the heart rate thing, he said, oh, she literally fell in love with him because he raised her heart rate. And I was like, that can't possibly be what that was meant to symbolize. It was.
It was.
But the explanation for why this is the case, as you said,
presented in this stilted, awkward
manga
aside,
is that she, as a kid, had like a heart condition where she couldn't, like, if her heart rate raised above a certain amount, then she would collapse. And
just like in Katawa Shoujo, she couldn't get her heart rate too high.
She, like, over the course of the next few years, just, like, numbed herself to any kind of emotional experience.
Yeah, I guess.
So that, like, because her mom, like, takes away her Nintendo...
It takes away her Nintendo Wii.
Yeah,
because she's getting too into it. She's too excited.
Like, her mom's like, oh, your heart rate will raise. And she's like, no, I actually can't get excited, Mom. I literally cannot get excited playing this video game. And then she grows up and she's, like, going on roller coasters with her friends and she feels nothing. She checks her heart rate and it's still 80. She's just flatline.
I thought the idea might be that she won't allow herself to because she's still in danger. I'm just saying.
That was unclear.
Biologically.
And it was really confusing that they didn't specify that.
This needs clarification. I'm just saying, because it doesn't make sense that would just
That's why this should have been a fully fleshed out scene as opposed to the half an episode of I know you're a rental girlfriend, and then running into her boobs and then protecting her from a fall down the stairs, which is not what causes her to fall in love with him.
No, but she reflects on it later as his positive character.
It's just like, what the fuck?
And then she blackmails him, you have to date me now, or I will tell everyone that you two are together or whatever.
We get to, as soon as she hooks up with him, we immediately learn that she's ultra clingy, and he is completely annoyed with it. He has no interest in her because he's like committedly in his mind in love with
Mizuhara.
And so he like doesn't want really anything to do with this girl, but he's just like dating her because that's what
he literally is forced to.
Because for some reason, he's not forced to. Chizuru just tells him to. She just says, go date her.
Well, she says do it because it's the easiest way out of this conundrum. Just give her a trial run as your girlfriend. She's okay with that. And then you'll have fulfilled your end of the bargain and she won't tell anyone that I'm a rental girlfriend.
What the fuck is, like...
It's retarded thinking.
Like, he says, like... Basically, like, I don't want to date her. Because, like, she breaks down in tears in the middle of the street. Begging
like a child.
him to date her.
Like a child.
And just, like, is crying her eyes out. And he's like, this is a nightmare. And Chizuru is like, just date her, bro. And it's like, what the fuck? Why? Like, and...
They think like children.
This whole show is encouraging bad behavior. The show. It's just characters constantly just being like, just do it, bro.
She whines and she gets her way. They lie to the grandmothers and that works out great. You're encouraged to be a rental girlfriend. There's no issues with that. But then later on, like when the girlfriend is saying like, just date me, bro, and Chizuru is encouraging him, like he's unable to conceptualize of like what a healthy, stable relationship actually looks like. Possibly because the only ones he's experienced have been this nightmare rental girl scenario. Maybe this isn't the best way for people to experience the opposite sex or whatever.
Yeah.
Who could have saw that coming? Idiots.
And then, so, I'm trying to even remember now what the fuck episode 8 was. Oh,
they're dating together. They're going out and goofing around and shit. And then the Christmas shit.
My brain,
The Christmas shit
at
the
God.
end.
Like, I felt a searing fucking pain shoot through my brain when I remembered. Because, like, episode 8 starts off, like, somewhat addressing new girl. But, like, she's just clingy girl who's around now.
Correct.
And then, like, the rest of the episode blows her off completely. So, like...
It's Christmas now.
Like, we just learned her backstory in a manga flashback at the end of the last episode, which you would think would be, like,
relevant to
getting to know her.
No.
That was the end of her arc. We are moving on into this other story where the main guy follows Chizuru around all day because he sees her with another guy and has the realization that he doesn't seem to be bothered by the idea that she could be another that she could be getting rented by this guy. But he has the realization, what if she actually did have a real boyfriend?
I have issues with the way that scene is depicted. Seems to imply that, like, if she had a real boyfriend, that would devastate me. Like, that would be a real issue for me. But if if she was out there with another rental, he'd be fine with it. It'd be no big at all. Like, she's just a rental girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's no emotional stakes here. Human beings can just
Even
turn
though
on
he's
and off how they
literally
feel.
fallen in love with her.
He's a fucking... This is where I'm like, I don't want children to consume this and think that people work this way, because it'll give them bad ideas about humanity.
Like, this show is, like, psychotic in a way. Like, the scene where the way episode 5 ends is that the grandmas have set them up in a room together.
Right.
Which, by the way, the main guy's grandma gropes Chizuru's tits.
Classic anime
has
girl
a whole
thing.
We also get to see like a lot of naked grandma, which
who was keeping it tight.
Yeah.
To her credit. Yeah.
But like, so it's just like, it's like the show doesn't like ask you to respect its characters in any way, you know?
It's
like,
not that serious, to be fair. I get that.
But like, it's just so bizarre because they decide, because the grandmas will not change their room they put them in the same room together.
Right.
They will not give them separate rooms even though they ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of these guys, these like 20-something-year-olds, I think, 20-year-olds or so.
Maybe 19.
Neither of them goes up to the front desk to just sort the situation out themselves.
They bring up the point, he's like, I'd go and ask, but I don't have money to buy my own separate room.
Why would they assume that was going to have to be the case? Like, you could talk through something, maybe there was a misunderstanding, you know? Maybe they could, I don't know. It just seemed like...
They really didn't try at all to resolve it.
They didn't do anything, and then like...
Well, to be fair, Mizuhara says, just don't worry about it. Like, he's like, maybe I'll like try to solve this. Mizuhara's like, it's fine. Yeah. Like, don't worry about it.
Then she just like kind of decides, she's like, well, they spent all this money on it, so I'm just going to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And you should too, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, in the situation he's in, he's like, well, you know, for me, enjoying myself would be raping you because you... Like,
he does clearly imply that. He says, halfway through the night, I'm not going to be able to control myself. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What will happen when you can't control yourself, sir?
Right. Well, so this is how the scene plays out, is that he is looking at her, and he thinks, I won't be able to control myself if I'm in the same room as her, so I'm going to sleep out in the hallway or the other room. And so he says to her this, and then she gets like mad and is like, why do you feel the need to sleep out there? Just take advantage of the opportunity to sleep in here with me, you know? And so, and I'm just like, why? Why would she say, like, what does she
want to happen here?
Right. What does she get out of telling him to sleep in the same room? And if other than if she is in love with him, and how could she not recognize that that's what that implies?
There's a thing going on here. You see it in anime sometimes. I don't think it's a real thing that exists in the real world, where she feels bad about just asking him to do something like sleep in another room or the hallway or whatever. Even though that really isn't much of an ask.
That's not how she presents it, though. She doesn't. She like, because I mean, it switches gears, because at the end of episode 5, she phrases it like, "Oh well, you know, you're paying for a date. Why wouldn't you make the most out of it? You know?"
Did she say that?
Yeah, she says something like that. She's like,
but he wasn't paying for this date.
She's like, why are
you
putting yourself? Like, why would you put basically like, why put yourself out when you don't have to? I didn't tell you to, you know. But then at the start of the next episode, like, he makes the obvious assumption, like, oh, she must want to fuck me then, right? So then he's like staring at her. That's not a crazy
conclusion to come to.
You know, like, kind of like, through the nature of the looks they're giving, he like tries to come in to like kiss her or something, and she like hits him and is like, "Hey, idiot! Like, I didn't say like, oh, you know, anything."
I think it was just.
I didn't say there was anything more to this, bro. You're gonna sleep on the opposite side of the room, and if you touch me, I'm gonna call the police and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, what were you trying? Like,
I think she was just trying to be nice. I don't know, like let him sleep in like the nice room for sleeping or something.
It was just so annoying that the end of episode 5 presented it like she was trying to seduce him, and then the start of episode 6 presents it like, oh, it was the complete opposite.
Is it one of those things where they're just trying to string you along with a particular words?
And it was really annoying. And it happens all the time because, again, it's all perception. It's all just like, it could all flip on the drop of a hat because it's just the characters telling each other what the situation is. The situation is they are functionally dating. Like, from our perspective, there's no fucking difference. But, like, they're in this whole warped mind game that causes them to constantly be involved with other people and to involve money and all these other weird, unhealthy elements in their relationship. And it's just like, these people are fucking impossible.
Consider the fact that he says, clearly, word of God, a character says, if I sleep in the same room, I won't be able to control myself. He then does sleep in the same room and is able to control himself. So these people just say things that aren't true.
Though he doesn't control himself in as far as he asks her.
He just says some words to her. I mean, that's not the same.
No.
I don't think that was the implication, but
that was supposed to be like something we were leaving behind. I don't know. It just felt like, again, it felt like we reset to zero.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then introduced a new girl so that we could have like a plot, but then that just kind of capsizes it in on itself.
Maybe the next episode would like get back to it or something.
I assume so. She was
Probably.
in the next episode preview.
That's true.
This was just really fucking painful for me.
Well, hang on. There's one last saga we have to talk about, which is the stalking sequence at the end of the Christmas date on episode 8.
I feel a pain.
That sequence was truly something else, because in that sequence he chances upon the girl with a guy, and I was thinking to myself, this is it. This is going to be the scene where he realizes, oh, she's dating other guys, and maybe even has like a manly moment of realizing, like, okay, it's not like she's like put out for any other guys. I'm gonna say, Chizuru, like, stop that. I want you to myself. Like, let's date. Of course they weren't going to do that, but he could have done that. That a human male could say such words. It is theoretically possible.
Good Lord.
But of course this guy wouldn't. Okay, and then he's like, oh no, maybe it's her real boyfriend, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. So he proceeds to follow them around here and there. Yeah. And to be fair, okay, see, this is what's annoying about the fucking writing of this piece of shit. It's that it's Christmas Day. They're walking around and she's saying words like, oh, when we get back, I'll like make you some stew. I'll have to make you stew. So it's like, oh, these clearly have like a relationship. They know each other. They go over to each other's houses. And we're thinking, are they family? Maybe it's her actual boyfriend. I mean, we know this is a story. So probably like family, brother, sister, mother, gay dad. Who knows what it is? And then like when it looks like the guy's going in for the kiss, dramatically our character falls down. Oh, I'm exposed. I was falling, and just spills his guts. That like, oh, I saw you guys together. I was, I wasn't here for any real reason or anything. But I heard it was kind of weird that you were talking about like making stew. He just like reveals that he was stalking. And this is where we were saying the like encouraging bad behavior. She's not even fazed by the fact that he was clearly stalking both of them.
In fact, she's
into it.
Well, because he's like, okay, so it turns out she's an actor.
Yes, an actor.
This guy is also an actor. They were going over lines together.
See, that line about Stu was acting, was reviewing lines.
And like they're as they're going on their date,
the worst writing.
They're portrayed as like going to the mall and going to like all these different places, buying all kinds of stuff together. There's a part where, and he's like, I don't know if this was meant to be metaphorical or what, because he's like listing off all the reasons that they're so good together, and like one's like they have high compatibility, and they're like getting a compatibility test.
Why would you go to a fortune teller to test your compatibility if you're just going over lines?
Yeah.
What is that?
They go and see a movie together. It's like, are they going over lines while they're at the movie? Is this like, this is just because they're friends?
Oh, why
right?
the fuck
like,
do they go to the? Yeah, okay. I mean,
what is the difference between that and a date?
So maybe in that guy's mind, it really is a date. Like he's like, hey, there's like a hot girl I get to go with lines over. So maybe in his mind, I don't know. I was actually in both high school and college theater. You know what? I never did any of this while going over lines with anyone. It's just so crystal clear. This is just set up to be a misdirect. It's Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day, which is like a big date day in Japan. They're reviewing lines, going to the fortune teller, going to the movies, shopping around, doing all kinds of stuff. And as they walk around in their fancy garbs, whatever, they're going over lines to their fucking play they're like, doing or whatever.
It's just so infuriating because it's like 15 minutes, and you know from the start that the twist is going to be that he's not the whoever,
whatever,
but like for it to be such a preposterous angle.
Yeah.
And this also is the moment where we learn why she's doing the rental girlfriend thing, which is like what I was the most curious about. It's like, well, obviously she needs money. She's like really studious and stuff. Like she's trying to go for something. We learn what it is. She's taking acting classes.
Acting in
it's
college.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the reason. And as an answer
Why
to the question...
Why did that need to be revealed at this time or so late in the game? Why was it... It really felt like the author did not know until this moment.
He had to come up with a reason.
Like, he finally thought of the reason, and then he thought of this plot line of how to reveal the reason and threw it in there. That's what it felt like to me.
I mean, right now, Blue Girl kind of has, like, a way better backstory than the main girl. Something about, like, her heart rate. She deadened her emotions. I can kind of get into that. That seems interesting. That could even kind of excuse this. I mean, I would never encourage anyone to, like, become a rental girlfriend as a way to deal with your emotions like this. I'd say, meet people, socialize in a normal life. Yeah. You're a pretty girl. People will want to talk to you. It won't be that hard.
Right.
It'll be fine. So, I mean, but maybe there's more to it. But for the main girl, for Chizuru, like, it's not explicitly described here, but surely the implication here is, of all the jobs, she could have any job in the world, right? She's, she could work retail, she could work whatever the fuck, customer service. She chooses to do the rental girlfriend one because it allows her to act. That's her thing. She gets to act as a girlfriend, and it's like she's practicing and making money while doing the things she wants to do anyway. Okay, that's fine. That doesn't change anything of my thinking about how fucked up it is that she's doing this, because, as we've already talked about, it is fucking with people's understanding of relationships.
Yeah.
There are better ways to get your money than this. So, I mean, I don't know. As an answer, it's fine. It's still low-level prostitution. Yeah. But if you want to do that, that's your choice.
Where the scene goes from there is even more infuriating, though, because she finds, like he says information which would reveal that he has been following them.
Right.
And she just kind of explains the misunderstanding, and then he's like, he's like afraid that, like, oh, well, this is it. I've really fucked up. But she doesn't seem to care.
She doesn't care at all.
And in fact, she had bought him a present, a phone case, and she gives it to him, and it's like, Merry Christmas. And he's like, this is the first time a girl's ever given me something on Christmas. This is the happiest day of my life. And she's just like, yeah, buddy, good for you.
I will go stalk girls. Girls will...
What in the fuck?
I'm going to follow a teenage girl on Christmas Day and get her to follow her until she gets me a gift.
It's just like the way that Chizuru is presented, like, they want her to be this, like, really logical, smart, like, she goes to school, she wears glasses and looks all bookish, and, like, she's studying, and she's working, and she's acting, and she hangs out with smart people and goes see art movies. Like, they see a movie where the main character's like, oh, that went over my head, I couldn't even follow it, It's like...
They saw the Antichrist.
She's supposed to be this, like, erudite...
They saw Willem Dafoe's dick root. Yeah.
But yeah, like, they fucking... Like, she's supposed to be, like, this super, like, learned, intelligent person. But then, when she acts in moments, like, inviting him to sleep in the room, it's so fucking inexplicable that there's no... It's like, this isn't the same person.
They're playing both sides. I think emotionally and relationship-wise, she's inexperienced and retarded. And, see, I don't buy that, like, an attractive Japanese woman isn't going to have clients who get a little frisky, which are going to, like, those are going to be the moments that kind of deaden you to the world, that are like, what am I doing? Like, I'm being exposed. But in our fantasy anime world, everyone respects the rules and is totally respectful and never thinks, like, hey, I enjoyed our date. Like, can I pay you double, like, to... jerk me off in my car? That'd be fun. How about we do that?
It is explicit that there's a lot of rules to the app, but
we're in the prostitution realm. I'm just saying, when you go on a date, look, sexuality is involved. That's just she dresses up fancy. Why? Because guys mathematically like to check off? No, because they like to look at it sexually. It's attractive. There's gonna be
he said
people,
himself, I won't be able to contain myself.
There you go. Like, men are monsters, I guess. So I'm just saying, like, the purity and, like, the protective little bubble, and still the fact that they're too cowardly to show Mizuhara on a date with another guy. We saw the other girl, the other rental girlfriend, on a date with another guy. That's how we meet her. That's fine. That's understood.
I'm just thinking about, like, how painful it is that, like, in the first couple episodes, like, we see main characters' friends for, like, 1 second. They're non-characters. Then, in, like, the first little arc with the girlfriend and all the other friends, all of a sudden all these guys are, like, super important to his life. life. They have all these bro moments with them.
Yeah.
The second that whole thing is resolved, these
Gone.
motherfuckers are gone.
Gone.
None of them fucking matter anymore. And like, I can't help thinking about, and I want to bring it up, and I have to watch this video Victor was telling us about.
Yeah.
That he said there's a YouTuber who he follows who like goes around Japan, like follows people through their everyday lives and like makes videos about them. And he followed a manga author, and it happened to be the Rental Girlfriend manga author.
Right.
Who Victor described to us as he lives in a office room that he calls his office, but works in a different office room that is an office. And he lives in the other office to get away from living with his wife and family.
Which he has elsewhere. He's married with children, apparently. It's a man.
But Victor described him as somebody who acts like a Chad in all of his interactions.
These is the information we were provided,
The first thing he said was, he seemed like a cool Chad.
Yeah.
And then he lives away from his family in a
Chad.
At a hotel. We were just like, wait a minute. Like, this guy seems weird as shit. And
that strikes me as strange.
The way that relationships are presented in this manga, like, just thinking about this man and his double offices and everything, it's just like, what is this guy's real life relationships like? Is it anything like this manga? And if so, you need to stop.
Yeah, he should stop. I don't know. I mean, you know what? The other point I was going to say was in the comments of last episode, some people had said that my complaint about how we don't see the main girl interacting with any other dates was because she wants to respect the guys she goes on these dates with by, like, only having one John per, like, area. And I thought, that doesn't make any sense and cannot be true and makes that's ridiculous.
Tokyo, you're going to run into people.
And people travel around, and I mean, you can't like have one sector blocked out of Tokyo where these are the places I'll go. So, like, I mean, maybe that's true in the manga.
Tokyo, I don't.
Wherever it is.
Confirm.
If that's true, unbelievably retarded writing. If it's not true, which I suspect is the case, then they should run into people. So stop being a coward. I want to see him watching her spread-ass legs getting plowed, as I'm sure she does on her other dates.
The unfortunate thing is that as much as I really hated watching these 4 episodes, talking about it is obviously hilarious, so we'll probably have to watch the last 4.
That's the great question. You know, there's one more girl.
Tell us how you feel, because, like, I mean, obviously...
Opinions were split last time about...
I mean, I think that opinions are going to be more split if you are trying to watch this show. But now that we're properly angry at it, this is now a video you can watch just to listen to us be mad at some shit anime.
You're not wrong.
You know...
It's officially gone into, like, shit territory, I think.
It felt to me similar to the disgust I felt watching Arrow Manga Sensei. And while this has a lot more, like, sincere effort put into it, and, like... But, like, I hate the characters just as much, almost.
I don't hate the characters nearly as much as Arrow Manga Sensei, I think. Because everybody here is fucking up real bad, but they kind of all have good intentions. Well, sorry, the blue girl and the ex-girlfriend are, like, still kind of bad people. Due to immaturity or maliciousness. Don't like them. Maybe they'll get fixed. They probably will get better as we go. The 2 main people, like, they're young, they're stupid as hell. Like, they're on the road to improving their lives, which I'm glad to see.
Very slow road.
Very, very slow. No progress has been made. And just like, they're talking about, like, I mean, even the fact that they're just like, oh man, like, we gotta find a way to break up. Like, how are we gonna, like, break up? So grandma, literally just walk in there and say we broke up. You don't even need to lie. Just be honest and say we broke up. If you get back together another time because you're pursuing, like, a normal romantic relationship, that's fine. Right. Just do that. But this insistence, I mean, I guess it's just the premise. We have to date for our grandmas. God, that makes me so fucking mad that anyone would put themselves in that situation. But I guess it's stupid to complain because I'm the one watching the show.
What confuses me is why they care so much about, like, getting found out for, like, oh, what if grandma finds out we're not actually dating? Who gives a fuck? There is no finding out you're not actually dating, because all you have to do is say you're dating. You don't have to ever encounter one another at all. Just insist that you are. There's no difference. It's just words.
You know, that's actually a good point. This, like, label checkbox of dating or not dating doesn't exist in the real world. People have like year-long relationships where they're never like, we're dating now.
The only difference is that you say it. I don't know. It's so fucking infuriating to watch them care so much about something that doesn't matter.
I mean, I certainly agree with that, and it's painful, but I'd be interested again to hear what you guys think.
I would give these 4 episodes a 2 out of 10.
I agree.
Maybe a 3 for just the parts. No,
the masturbation scene was awesome. That was awesome.
Was a 10 out of 10. The rest of it was a 2.
The rest was like a 1. I guess it was like a 2. Yeah, I look 2, high 2. I don't fucking know. Something like that.
All right.
That's it, everybody. $10 on Subscribestar. Please pledge to us and support the show because we got bonus episodes. Prefecture Alert Defense Force. That's the one. Pow, 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 pow. It is good time. Go check it out, everybody. We will see you soon on the next episode of Kid. See you later.